and we find ourselves in the shadow of Yankee Stadium.
Dun, dun, dun.
Our first time looking at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Not our last. And we find ourselves going over the Macombs Dam Bridge. Now, this bridge has a very interesting history as far as I'm concerned. There have been 3 versions of the bridge. The first version was a dam/bridge.
Yes.
That was from 1814 to 1848. And Robert Macomb requested to build a dam for a grist mill that he owned.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if he had a lot of sway or what, but citizens, seeing that this thing was going to go through with the state legislature, decided to piggyback on and say we want to have a pedestrian bridge as well.
Okay.
And,
makes sense.
Yeah. So the bridge was run by Robert Macomb, and there was a toll to go over it pedestrian-wise.
Okay.
And I mean that probably involved carts and whatnot too, not just foot traffic. I don't but like.
Sure, maybe, yeah.
And so there was a toll, and half of the money was supposed to go to the education for the poor.
That's nice.
Sounds great. Who knows if that actually happened or what that looked like, but sounds like a cool idea. Well, it turns out that they didn't do such a great job building the first bridge.
Really?
Or first dam. Yeah. So part of the responsibility was that they had to make it so that boats could go by.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were creating a lock system. It wasn't because it was a dam and not a bridge necessarily, dam first. They couldn't do like the lift bridge or the swing bridge or anything like that.
Right, you need it to still hold the water.
Right, so they did a lock system. Now,
for anyone that doesn't know what a lock system is, it's basically like a few smaller dams. So you can like open one, bring your boat in, close it off again so the water can't follow you.
Mm-hmm.
Open the next and bring it out.
That's right. So they made a lock that was only a 7 by 7 foot square. Which is to say,
of one person laying down.
Yeah, which is to say a rowboat could barely be used.
Yeah.
And I understand that this is 1814, but at the same time, like...
Right, they don't have like Carnival cruise ships going
They
down
don't,
the river,
but also
like,
they
do have
cross
bigger
the Atlantic
boats.
Ocean,
Yeah.
And it just seemed crazy to me that, for a city that has, planned so many other things, that this was able to get by.
Yeah.
And understandably, it was an outrage with the citizens.
Yeah.
Kind of from the jump.
Yeah, it sounds like old man McComb just didn't really want anybody coming into his grist mill area.
That's right. So this was wild. It was eventually, well, I guess I'll just read the Wikipedia.
Okay.
People were unhappy.
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure out a way to get rid of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a little civil disobedience that happened.
Okay.
So the dam was opened in 1814, and the bridge was finished in 1815. Macombs Dam's capacity was limited by its narrow width, as I mentioned earlier, with a lock that was 7 by 7 feet. People were no longer able to use it after a while because the boats were larger, and people were actually dying trying to get around this thing.
Oh my God.
Because I guess when the tide was high, maybe it was possible to get around the sides.
Okay.
Wasn't really able to figure that out. But there was, I guess, some method, but it created very dangerous sailing conditions, and people died. So in September of 1839, there was a group of people that sailed up to the dam.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, take a step back, they had been going there every day for months. And the people that ran the dam were obligated to keep a log of people that wanted to get through but couldn't because their boat wasn't the right size.
Okay.
So there was paperwork, essentially,
Sure.
saying every day that they couldn't get through. And then in September of 1839, they decided that this was their time.
Yeah.
And they were refused to passage. And then they started taking axes to the dam.
Oh my God.
100 men started just attacking the dam.
Wow.
And then they went home. And then they came back 3 more times.
What?
So 4 days in a row, they came back and just chopped the dam down.
Wow.
And
Wait, so there wasn't like police?
I don't know. It was
Or like the Macomb security wasn't like, you can't do that?
it was just a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Also, one
I
of
mean,
the-
I guess 100 men with axes, like,
yeah, I guess.
what are you going to do with that?
They reference that one of the leaders was the son of like an American revolutionary too.
Wow.
Which like you got to imagine back in the day, there was a different respect for that type of civil disobedience. And if you had
Yeah,
like
that's probably
direct
true.
blood to one of the revolutionaries, you probably got away with a lot more, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, it's also like in your genes to
yeah,
like
right, exactly.
just tear shit apart.
Yeah. So you might think that in our contemporary society, yeah, that the cops would step in or something like that.
Yeah.
But in fact,
But I guess like how would you even call the cops?
yeah,
Send a pigeon.
yeah, the courts actually sided with these insurrectionists, if you want to call them.
Sick.
Yeah, and it was considered a nuisance to the public.
The dam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that it never should.
Because they couldn't
Yeah.
stop axing at
Yeah.
it.
And it was said that it never should have been built in the first place because the waterways were federal concerns.
Gotcha. Are they still, do you think?
That I don't know. I don't know. But so this is 1839, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took until 1858 until the dam was demolished,
Wow.
which I guess once they destroyed it, it was like boats could pass.
Yeah.
But it was, I
With
guess
the
there was
axes,
just,
you
yeah,
mean?
I guess there
Yeah.
was just like this trash dam that was there for 20 years, which is something that
Yeah, that's so bizarre. But it's also like that would definitely still happen today.
maybe, I don't
Just
know.
some bureaucratic bullshit.
Something
Or
I've
like
noticed.
Macomb just being like, I'm not moving my dam.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, something I've noticed about reading this history of the bridges, and the second iteration of this bridge will, I think, put it into context. But it seems like there's like bridge time. It's almost like geologic time. Like you don't measure it by like years.
Yeah.
Bridges are like decades. It's like 50 years is like the minimum life of a bridge,
Mm.
you know? And
Mhm.
like oftentimes it could be 100, 150 years. And it might be like there might be big chunks where it's like, well, it could take 12 years to be constructed, or it could take
Right.
30 years to be renovated sometimes, or just
Yeah. Well, there's so much that goes into it probably to make sure that they're structurally sound. It's really, I think it's probably super important.
well, absolutely.
Like the engineering that goes into it. And then you don't want to you can't just build something like that is going to last for like a year.
Yeah. But here it took 20 years until after it was mauled.
Yeah. To
To act-
actually take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm curious kind of to hear even more about that story. I wonder maybe at some point we'll look into it.
yeah. After that, there was a second version of the bridge
Okay.
that lasted from 1860 to 1895 and was
Okay.
unpopular that entire time.
Why?
35 years. People lived and died with this substandard second bridge. It doesn't seem that it was as invasive
Okay.
as the dam
Yeah.
bridge. But it was constantly over budget and needed repairs and was never satisfactory. And
Did
there
they
was
axe that down too?
no, they did not axe it
Okay.
down. They just kept trying to repair it and make it better, and it wasn't working. And the
Oh.
people didn't like it. I think probably there was like bad juju probably around the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
And there was, I guess, one
I was
quote.
just about to use that exact same term.
Weird.
Yeah.
There was one quote from like a New York Times story at the time where they were like, they ought to keep it for the clam wagons.
The what?
The clam wagons. Though,
What did you call me?
though no clam with any regard for himself would ever cross the bridge.
Ooh,
Yeah.
burn.
Burn, that's right.
Bivalve burn.
Bivalve burn, that's right. So, 1895,
Wagon.
we get rid of that bridge.
Yeah.
And in steps Alfred Pencoast Bowler.
I've heard his name.
You well have, because he also designed two bridges that you were responsible for researching.
Yeah, he's a big bridge boy.
The 145th Street and Madison Avenue Bridge. And this is where our contemporary bridge steps in. It was...
Are you moving on to another bridge again without letting me read my notes?
No, I'm not at
Oh.
all. This is the
we're
contemporary
talking-
version of the
I'm sorry,
Macomb
there's
Dam
so
Bridge.
many bridges on this one bridge.
I know. We heard you like bridges, so we put bridge in your bridge. This is a swing bridge, because Alfred Pencoast Bowler was a big swing bridger.
Just to be clear, everyone, we're still talking about Macombs Dam Bridge.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And
Swing.
yes,
Oh, and this is the one near Yankee Stadium. We can say it. Swing, bada, bada, swing.
very good.
That's
It-
what Joe DiMaggio, or whatever his name is, probably says. The Yankees win. The Yankees win.
That's John Sterling. Yes,
Exactly.
right. So the Macomb Dam Bridge currently has been there for 120 something years.
Okay. Wow.
And I think that places it as the third oldest major bridge
Cool.
in the city.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that. We don't know what that means, really, but it's just one of the oldest, the third oldest major bridge.
Yeah. It
I don't know what constitutes a major bridge versus a minor bridge, but
probably two-way
it's fine.
traffic and length, I guess.
sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was critically well received,
Oh.
unlike the first two. So they managed to break the spell of bad juju.
Yeah.
It has a painting by Edward Hopper,
What? I didn't see that,
1935. Yeah. Well,
Really?
it wasn't yours to research. It was mine. That's why you didn't
but
see
I
it.
didn't see it on the bridge.
Well, no, it's not on the bridge.
Oh, Edward Hopper painted the bridge.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, it goes right to Yankee Stadium. So if you're driving from Manhattan into the Bronx, it's kind of an interesting view.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us your review of it?
Ooh, I don't even remember what I wrote. I guess I said that before. Okay. Pretty looking. Nice side decorations, maybe flowers. Also really pretty structure above the roadway. Are those called trusses? Cool old signage to leave the bridge when the gong sounds so it can draw. Signs to dismount bikes that aren't respected. 2 mopeds and an electric bike passed us on the short trip across. Looks like under the bridge on the Bronx side there was a path leading under the bridge. Oh, whatever, I wrote this in the moment. Looks like under the bridge on the Bronx side there was a path with 3 full shopping carts. I guess it's a living space. Did you notice that?
No.
Yeah, it looked like there was a lot going on under the bridge.
Yeah.
People living there. Yeah, I like that bridge. Did you notice the decorations that I was talking about, the little flowers on the side?
No?
Oh, it's kind of down like below to the outside, below where the person would be walking. Kind of looked like the decorations on a tin ceiling.
No, I'll have to check the next time we walk through.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
There's also a lot of stickers on this bridge, which I would think is more of a downtown vibe, but not here. And obviously, I like that aesthetic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that was, historically a very fun bridge. And I think it looks nice too. I like the little points on the top of the second half if you're going towards Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.